indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Just a quick note to the home audience, if you're listening on our PEG channel, I understand we're having some sound problems tonight, so I apologize for that. Maybe it'll fix itself, but it will be, my understanding is it's working fine on the YouTube channel, so if you want to chase that channel down, you'll be able to hear us perfectly, as I understand it.
And it should be fine in the recording when we broadcast that.
Yes, and the recording after the fact will be fine. All right, Amy, roll call to establish a quorum, please.
Supervisor Jeannie Vogel? Here. Supervisor Linda Waite? Here. Chairman Dan Mokel?
Here.
Supervisor Derek Daniel?
Here.
Supervisor Mark Hain?
Here. All right, next item on the agenda is the meet and greet. So I think you know who all of us wonderful people are. How about we start over here and introduce yourself, please.
My name is Tamara Gillett. I live on Moore Road here in Sevastopol.
All right.
Paul Becker, Town of Sevastopol.
Trent Olson, Town of Sevastopol.
All right. Jim, you're next.
Jim Mitchie, 4159 Bay Shore Drive, Sevastopol.
Robin Zaran, Sevastopol.
Thank you.
Tom Ash, I'm here representing Mighty Pioneers.
Oh, you're back there somewhere. Okay. In this lineup, you can't see anybody's head.
Kathy Greer, here today, I'm representing Open Door Press.
Okay. And our two audio video specialists.
Eric Demise, North Country View Road.
Laddie Chapman, good job.
All right.
Ready for your close-up.
Moving on, public participation. Is there anyone here that would like to talk for a moment or two to the board? Yes.
I'm here to ask the board to put an item on the agenda for future reference. We're here representing a group that would like to open the town roads to ATV and UTV traffic.
That's it?
Unless you have questions, I have a lot of answers.
Well, the process is, we've had this question before, and you're probably aware of that. There are some caveats that we have to deal with at the town, which I will more than happily let you address at some future point.
Okay.
I think what we'll probably do is we'll probably give this over to our park committee. I think that's the proper fit, but we'll probably take it over to the park committee, have you come in, discuss it with them, and then if they feel it's appropriate, they would bring it to the town board.
Okay.
And so what we will contact you just to make sure that park committee is the right place to start. All right?
Perfect.
Okay, good enough. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes?
Good evening, everyone. This is wonderful to be here to see how your government works. I'm sorry about the mask. I did present what I'm going to read here as a letter for public record. I'm here representing the organization Open Door Pride. Our mission is to affirm diversity in Door County through inclusion for all. June is nationally and internationally known as Pride Month. Our nation's capital and state's capitals, including Wisconsin, fly the Pride flag during this period. Last year, a Pride flag was flown in Martin Park, Sturgeon Bay throughout June, and other Door County municipalities also flew a flag. On behalf of Open Door Pride, we kindly request that Sevastopol fly a Pride flag for the month of June. Flying the flag celebrates and supports the diversity of our community. This year, we have requests for more than 20 different businesses and municipalities in Door County who will be flying the Pride flag. And what a wonderful show of support to residents and to those who visit Door County. Our 5th annual festival is scheduled for Saturday, June 26th. It will be a virtual event from 11 to 1, but will also include a live ceremony in Martin Park and Sturgeon Bay at noon. We welcome you all to join us. Our festival has been attended by Door County residents from every area of the county, from Brussels to Washington Island. It would be a powerful sign of support for these community members to see a Pride flag flying in Sevastopol for the month of June. Thank you for the thoughtful consideration of this request, and Open Door Pride will happily provide you with a flag for this purpose. Thank you.
Okay, thank you much. We do not make any decisions on things on public participation, so we'll circle back on that topic.
Thank you.
Okay? Yes, sir.
Good evening, everyone. I just get back from out of town, and I get a ticket for zoning violation. So I went and found,
I'm sorry, I'm having a tough time hearing you.
I get a ticket for zoning violation for repairing a deck in front of the
Okay.
house I just purchased. And they said that you have to have a permit for repair. I took an old one out, which was practically unsafe, unhealthy, and put a wood instead of the old wood. I get a ticket and a violation. Now, I also have another building I want to do. I want to repair the deck before somebody gets hurt. And they said you have to have, again, a permit, which is 3.5 feet by 6 feet on a shed. So the zoning is not clear because the town have the county enforce its zoning. Now the question is, if it's a repair of an old one, then why should somebody be penalized for bringing it up to code? Because the code requires safety.
Right. And not to cut you off, but I will for a second, simply because zoning falls outside of our jurisdiction. We're under county zoning. We follow their guidelines. They do the enforcement. I hear what you're saying, but I know that under county zoning, if you take on projects like that, you do need a permit. Even though it makes sense to you and I, we follow their guidelines and their enforcement. If you need to get, I think you said variance?
No, it's not an issue, variance, it's just an issue.
No, I thought you mentioned that you needed additional footage to put your deck.
No, I didn't have additional footage. In fact, I had a smaller footage. The issue is not that. The issue, I have a property in Egg Harbor, and they have the locals in Egg Harbor do their enforcement.
Right.
Why can't Sevastopol does its own?
We don't. We've been part of county zoning since, what, 1995? Somewhere in there?
Before then.
Right. And they handle it for us. We don't have the process capability. We don't have the people. But the decision was made long before my time to go with county zoning, and that's where it stands. The only time we become involved in something is if you had to have a variance or a conditional use, something that would require modifications to the current property, then it would come, eventually it would have to end up with the county, but it would come to the town as a starting point. But beyond that, everything else is done at the county level. So I'm sorry we're not able to help with that.
Thanks.
You're welcome. All right. Anyone else? All right. With that, I do believe we would need to approve the agenda. Was it properly noticed, Amy?
The agenda has been properly noticed.
And we would need a motion to adopt.
I would move to adopt the agenda as noticed.
Motion by Linda,
I'll second that motion.
second by Jeannie. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion goes. Approval of minutes from the Board of Supervisors meeting on February 15th.
I'll make a motion to approve the board minutes, February 15th, 2021.
We have a motion by Derek,
Second.
second by Mark to approve the minutes, Board of Supervisors meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, pending business, short-term rental. There's been a lot of communication and interest in this process tonight. Just want to let everyone know that there is a current draft on the town website for your review. And I just thought I would address some of the things that I've heard or that are out there. As many of you are aware, the Plan Commission has been working on developing this ordinance because of the growth of short-term rentals in our community. They have focused on addressing a number of key areas that have progressed to the point where we need to schedule a public hearing prior to the implementation or adoption of this ordinance. The commission has worked quite hard to put together this proposed ordinance, and it does address a number of concerns and issues. And I thought I would just recap the 3 or 4 things that it specifically addresses. One is the licensing of each property, which ensures that all properties are licensed by the state, which provides certain guarantees to those who rent those properties. It also deals with occupancy levels based on the private wastewater system limitations as defined by the County of Door, ensuring that the quality of the drinking water in our community is not impacted by the overuse of private wastewater treatment systems. It also provides for a neighbor's bill of rights, for lack of a better term, giving the adjoining property owners access to owners or rental managers who can be contacted for problem resolution or concern. And it tends to bring a sense of community back to our residential areas by limiting rental frequency or property churn. So this is probably some of the key reasons that this project has been undertaken. It's been over a couple of years. And on May 11th, with the board's concurrence, we will have a public hearing. And I just wanted to lay out for everybody some expectations as to what that public hearing will do. It's going to be May 11th. The focus will be to gather input from the public on the proposed ordinance and its implementation. There will be no discussion between the audience and the planning committee. There will be no discussion amongst the committee. And there will be no voting that will occur that evening. No decision or conclusions will be reached. We do have limited seating. For those of you in the audience or watching at home, you can see due to COVID, we're using the building, but we're limiting our capacity to approximately 25 seats. If you plan to attend this hearing, the idea is to come in, say your piece, concern, issue, whatever, and then rotate out so that we don't have a capacity issue with the building given the state of the virus. So speakers are encouraged to sign up in advance with the town clerk. The clerk will establish a list of speakers so that you can be given an approximate time to be here. So if there's 10 speakers, we're going to speak for 3 minutes each. You're number 11, whatever, we will give you an approximate time as to when your turn might be here. We will give residents the opportunity to speak first, and those speakers who are not pre-registered will still have an opportunity to speak, but they will speak last after the registered speakers. The time limit per speaker will be 3 minutes. We have received over 100 emails, numerous phone calls and conversations. So we're looking for new input, not necessarily all repetitive. And the entire board is aware of all the communications that we have received, both written and verbal. Our hearing will be broadcast live on our public access TV station, and hopefully the sound will be perfect. And it will also be available on YouTube live. In addition, since we do anticipate that there could be more interest in this topic than we have capacity to handle in the room, there will be overflow seating at the Institute Saloon. They have a large screen TV in their back room, which you'll be able to sit through and listen to, and if you're anticipating speaking, to come over at the appropriate time. Lastly, as I think I mentioned earlier, the draft ordinance is on the website. There will be one clarification made to that draft ordinance regarding the 6-night minimum stay, and that is being redefined, as a single stay in a 6-day period. All other components of the draft remain unchanged, and that'll be up shortly. So hopefully, if you're listening and you plan to be here, you have any questions, either contact myself, one of the other board members, or the focal point would be our town clerk, Amy. Feel free to give her a call, register any questions you might have, and if not, we will see you at that hearing. So, any comments from anyone else on the board? The hearing date of May 11th Everybody's in sync with that? Okay, good enough. Next item is the newsletter. And Amy, who is leading that? You or Linda?
Linda can go.
Amy,
She's volunteered you.
Amy and I are working together. We're co-editors in chief. So we did come up with some possible articles there. Amy included my email from April 12th with some suggestions. So please take a look at that. If you have other ideas, please let me know. As Mr. Zaran mentioned, maybe we need, again, some clarification on what county zoning does and compared to our building permit is issued. That has been previously mentioned, but doesn't hurt to mention again. So again, please take a look at the list. If you have something you want to add, let me know or Amy know. And I don't know if we have a time frame. Right now, we were hoping for July, I believe, when most of our seasonal residents are here in Sevastopol. So if we wanted to place a deadline for articles, I guess we would go with, let's see, if we shoot for the middle of July, have it
June?
out in the mail for the middle of July.
To have our deadline thing written.
So our deadline would maybe be like June 1st. So if you would all please think about that.
Sounds like a good idea. I would think we could add it, maybe if we have space, some of the stuff about the invasive species might be a potential candidate. And depending on where the ATV routes, like you said, that may be something that could be supplied by.
Yep, that is on the list.
Do you, back up for just a moment on your quest for opening the roads, do you have, or have you guys formed a town, or a committee, I mean?
We have.
Or a club? Okay, so maybe we'd solicit some input from them too, depending on what's up. Okay.
Could I just mention the topics? And then if you have any ideas, again, please let Amy know. And we'll mention this at the annual meeting tomorrow night as well, if anybody has an interesting subject. So for possible articles, we had, if you recently heard that 4257 Door County Coastal Byway was declared a national scenic byway. So maybe a hint on cleaning up our properties along the highway, since we have both 42 and 57 in our town. There would be a short-term rental status report. People have been asking about progress on the pickleball courts next door. We have a new zoning administrator and a new highway commissioner for the county, so that might be worth mentioning. ATV and UTV routes as a topic. YouTube update from Laddie, where to find our programs and recordings. And also the Muscat property, you've all noticed that that's been cleaned up, so maybe a before and after photo there. We have some new park employees and updates on our ball fields, and maybe a new updated group photo of supervisors and a clerk. So if you have a different idea that you'd like us to write about, please let us know. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Linda. Anything to add at all, Ms. Flock?
She went over it all.
Sounds good. We'll see who volunteers to write an article or two. I'm sure everybody here will want to have that opportunity to use your writing skills, right?
Start about 10:30 on May 31st.
If it has to be.
Good.
All right?
Whatever works.
Sure.
We'll work through the list. How's that? We've got some suggested authors. All right. Thanks, Linda.
You're welcome.
Okay. Brought back from last month was the proposed room tax revenue change. If you recall last month, well, actually it was February, right?
February.
We had, Dave Elliott was here, we had this as a topic of discussion. As an output, we sent a letter saying that all indications were that it was our intention to support the room tax change. And so we brought it back this month. I also wanted to share with you my comments that I had with Dave regarding this topic. If you recall, one of the things that, the reasons that they wanted to increase it was to fund an additional employee to help monitor all of the short-term rentals as well as the commercial property rentals because their workload had increased significantly. And as a result of the work that Linda's committee have done on short-term rentals, they have been working with a software company called Granicus, which helps in the revenue monitoring and discovery of short-term rentals and others that should be licensed and fees paid, etc. So I had a discussion with him, encouraging him to consider implementing some software to address the long-term need for more people beyond what they are anticipating hiring. Or I should say, another way is to prevent adding more people than they already have a need for. Using this tool as a way to help control their costs and expenses. And the cost for that software is far less than the cost for adding additional employees. The other thing that I raised as an issue was to encourage the tourism zone to also be a checkpoint for short-term rentals, that they are DATCAP compliant, that they have a state of Wisconsin license, just as they are required to have a permit to rent. So I anticipate that as this goes further down the road, that there'll be some discussions to try and look at these two things a little bit further. The DATCAP part is really covered in our own ordinance, should it be enacted, but I still think it should fall in there, at least from check the box that I have it, rather than letting it just get passed over. And the Granicus software, I know there's conversations with different communities about this, and so hopefully other communities will join in and say that they should take a look at this. So that's my feedback. Dave wanted to know if we were going to approve this tonight otherwise, so I'm looking for your input or suggestions on, are we going to do this or what's up? So whoever, whatever. Comments from anyone?
Well, at the Tourism Zone Commission meeting last week, I did ask Mr. Elliott if the resolution, if this was still the most current form of the resolution, and he assured me that yes, it was. And again, it's for the 8% increase. And I agree with our chairman that we should have some, if we're going to be supporting the zone financially,
right,
there needs to be some accountability. And yes, the workload has increased, mostly due to the number of residential dwellings that are now being permitted. So, and I know that Ms. Vogel listened, and I myself listened into a Zoom meeting sponsored by Wisconsin Towns Association at 5 o'clock this afternoon. The collection of room tax is turning into be a real hassle. In 2019, the marketplace providers, and that would be like Airbnb, VRBO, Travelocity, or whatever, lobbied our legislatures, and the laws were changed to say, oh sure, the platforms can collect the tax and remit it to the zone or the Tourism Zone Commission or whatever organization is collecting. And that's not working out so well. So they hope to, with this Senate bill and an Assembly bill, they hope to put some strength and vigor and teeth into that compliance and enforcement issue, because many of them are being non-responsive. So room tax is a big deal.
I think Dave mentioned when I talked to him that he's it's around 11, I think, 11 or 12 of 14 communities. I do not know what happened. Did you happen to hear what happened on Monday in Ephraim?
I don't know, but as of last Thursday, he said there were 9 municipalities that had expressed support for the increase.
Okay.
So if you've talked to him since and it's now at 10, that's a possibility.
Oh, you know what? I think it's on Ephraim's tonight. I'm sorry. I've lost track of the day. Any other comments?
Well, I only know that Dave also requested at the Tourism Zone Commission meeting that, that you either approve it as a municipality, not make any, throw in any additions to it, because that would not be good for.
Right. He wanted, or he would like to see a uniform resolution
Yes.
among all the municipalities.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
I just wanted to express the concern so that it doesn't
Yeah.
get, doesn't evaporate.
Yeah, and I think that that was well taken.
So-
I think Dave indicated that he understood
Okay.
that.
So if we are going to approve it, we could have a motion to do that, and then we could bring it back as a formal resolution next month, or whatever your pleasure. Don't all jump at once.
Well, I'm still in favor of the increase from
Well-
5.5% to 8% increase for a room tax. I'm still in favor of that. I'm not so sure on allocating the tourism costs, though. You know, that right now they're saying it would be determined based on a percentage share of the room tax collected in your municipality. And is that the most equitable way to do it? I don't know.
Well, I don't disagree with that either. I mean, there are various ways to try and tweak that. I think to Dave's point is he just wanted to try and get over the main hurdle. And then I think unfortunately we'd end up having to back into some of those other issues. In our case, we're the only community that probably will not get direct reimbursement back from
Destination Door
Oh,
County.
yeah, I always want to say the other one, thank you. Destination Door County, unless we come up with some public projects that we would be able to use under the guidelines. But I don't think we can hold a gun to his head and say, this stuff has to happen before we take the next step. So if you're not prepared to do that at this point, that's fine. I can roll it over for another month if that's the way that you want to handle it. Your choice.
It's tough because I feel the same way that Linda does, that, you know.
I'm sorry.
It's tough because I do believe the room tax should increase, but, you know, there is that consideration that she said about the.
Okay. Not hearing anybody that wants to make a motion, I will bring it back next week. All right. Moving on to new business. First item of new business is really nothing more than FYI. We have an automatic renewal with Door County Inspections. I just wanted to make sure that you were aware of that. Brett's done a good job for us. The few times I've had to engage him, he's been responsive and helpful. We have absolutely no issues with his services. We are on a one-year auto renewal. Anticipate that to happen again. If anybody has any feedback, feel free to share it. But it has renewed at this juncture. All right. Next item, I will bounce over to our clerk treasurer. You have a couple applications for alcohol and beverage licenses, Amy?
Yep, so the Institute Cubs, or the Institute Valmy Athletic Club, made application to receive a seasonal Class B beer license for their home games at the Town of Sevastopol Park. All fees have been paid and everything is up to date.
All right. And you also have one for,
The Mighty Pioneers also made application. It's their first one. They're a group. They're not affiliated with a school. And they made application again for a Class B seasonal liquor license, beer, to be served at the town park during their games. And we do have a representative here from the group if you have any questions.
I was just going to ask him just to tell us how he's going to do all of this stuff and what kind of things we can expect to be dining on. And I'm more interested in the dining.
So yeah, I'm the president of the Mighty Pioneers Youth Sports Club group that we formed at Sevastopol. And what we do is provide youth sports programs for kids that are enrolled in the Sevastopol School District or live in the Sevastopol School District. We are not associated with the school, even though we share the Pioneer name. The school does not fund youth athletics from from kindergarten to 6th grade. So this year, we have formed 20 teams that will be utilizing your town park. Over 70 home games through the course of the month of June and 3/4 of July. We will, and we are going to open up a concession stand, which is why we need to create or get funds to help fund the programs that we're doing. So those 20 teams don't come cheap. I mean, we are spending $8,000 on uniforms and new equipment, $4,000 or $5,000 for that. So yes, we charge each player a player fee to enter into the league, but we need to run the concession stand. We also took in the Northern Legion, now is under our control, as well as the Pony League team as well. So we actually are offering youth sports to over 200 kids this summer in your town, and we're just ask for the permits so that we can try to raise some funds at the concession stand.
So you're basically going to run the concession stand for every event with the exception of the Cubs?
Correct.
Okay, well, that's good. I mean, we've had trouble staffing it over time.
The Pioneer Booster Club, correct, is going to work with you guys?
Yeah, the Booster Club is working for us.
During the high school season, correct?
Yeah, they're going to, because as you can tell, if we have 20 teams, our board's going to be pretty well taxed trying to keep these games moving. So the Booster Club is going to help man or run the stand with us at the same time. So we're going to kind of split our profits.
But what I'm saying is, during the high school season, it's going to be the Booster Club, correct?
Correct.
That way, people don't get it confused, because there will be no
there will be no beer for sale
sales
while
at
the
high school.
high school season is going on.
Yep.
Okay, that's fine. Well, they had to get a beverage, they had to go and get some training, or that's coming up, right?
We
already
have
yep.
5-6 people went through the responsible service course.
Okay, not that, based on the schedule, and I saw the schedule of games, they're rather robust, it's a robust list. If you do have anybody, or you know of anyone that would accept payment from the town for prepping those fields for you, we'd be more than happy to talk to them. So if you know of anybody that's got that skill and would like to work some of the games, we'd love to hire somebody permanent to work on that function, all right? So, appreciate it. Anyone else have any comments or questions with respect to the license?
Where will we find the schedule, Tom? And are you playing leagues from outside of Door County then?
Yeah, so
Okay.
we formed, it used to be the Sturgeon Bay Little League for boys and the Sturgeon Bay Little League for girls. So the girls league was down to like 3 teams. So we did a little prototype of that this fall. And we got teams back in from Algoma. There used to be kids from Algoma, Gibraltar, Southern Door. In the past, Southern Door pulled out, Gibraltar has kind of pulled out, there's just a handful from each school that's still in it. So the boys league was kind of on the downside as well. So by us going into more of a school-based teams, we're able to get Algoma back, and in softball, Algoma and Kiwani are coming back. So some Gibraltar kids, because there's not enough for their own team, they're going to join in with the Sevastopol kids. We're not really going to leave any kids behind. We still want the kids to play the sport. So Yes, there, we have a Facebook page, Mighty Pioneers Inc. has a Facebook page. We also are working on a website so that we can post those schedules so people can find them as well.
Great, thank you.
But you can almost guarantee if you drive by here in the summer, there's going to be something going on at the town park every day.
Good.
We'll be running the treadmill to keep the lights on. Oh, Any other comments, questions? If not, a motion would be in order, and to make life simple, why don't we combine that into the approval for the Institute and Mighty Pioneers?
I'll make the motion to approve the Institute and Valley Athletic Club and the Mighty Pioneers, Inc. seasonal Class B beer license for 2021.
All right, thank you. Motion by Mark, second by?
I'll second that.
Second by Jean. We've had lots of conversations. He did not share with us what's on the menu. We will approve it, I think. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right, thanks for the hard work. It's good to see that you got the kids away from the PC and out there on the field. It's a positive. So,
Kids don't even know
Great
what
going.
PC is, man.
okay, I did send out a note to all of you talking about road work. That's coming up, the road tour, I should say. And I was looking to try and solidify a date, the first Saturday in May. We will have had the roads checked by our friend Brandon.
Bay Lake Regional.
Yeah, Bay Lake Regional, I'm sorry, were you?
No, I was waving at the
Oh,
gentleman left, sorry.
Threw me off there, no problem. Any rate, how does it look for Saturday, May 2nd? We'd be most of the morning and early afternoon is pretty typical.
May
It's the
1st.
isn't it?
Saturday the 1st, yes, did I say the 2nd? I
You did.
The 1st.
What time, Dan?
We'd start at 8 o'clock here. Spend some time with our clerk treasurer for a few minutes and then go out, examine the roads, come back, pick what roads we want to prioritize, and then take it through the process. So, and if any of you have heard from somebody in particular that there's a road that we need to look at, I'd appreciate you giving that to Amy so we can put that list together and make sure we touch base on those. I'm looking right here's my note, says May 1st. There you go. All right.
How long do you anticipate that would be?
2 o'clock, maybe a little earlier.
Are you buying lunch?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
We usually have an extremely lavish lunch. This year, I think we're going to have lobster on the menu.
Oh.
It'll be worth your effort. All right, moving on to the broadband infrastructure engineering assessment. I think I included the details of this in your packet. But basically, my understanding is that the Door Economic Council was going to undertake this broadband study, looking at who has it, who doesn't, what are the speeds, what's the opportunity, a very extensive study. They thought they were going to get this accomplished for $30,000. They had that money in hand, and between the time that COVID hit and everybody and their brother wanted to expand broadband, the price went up. So they have come back to the towns, and based on population, are asking each town to contribute $2 per population, which in our case would be, we got what, 2,700, Amy?
Roughly between 27 and 28.
So somewhere around $5,000, $5,500, they're asking us to support this request to do the study. I think it's probably as good a project as any, and of course their justification for doing this is that the federal government is giving us $260,000 to do broadband expansion amongst other things, and I think we could take $5,000 or $5,500 out of that to support that venture.
I just think it's interesting that they asked for it after they find out we have the money, that we're getting the money, you know what I mean? It's like coincidence?
Well, they actually
They did
asked for
have
it.
the original $30,000.
Yeah, well, I know that, but then now that we all getting money, they're asking for a little more.
This is kind of like, gasoline. As soon as you think you know what it is, it goes up.
Well, they expanded the
They
study
expanded the scope.
considerably.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, now there's a lot to this that they're doing. Especially when it comes to a combination of fiber and wireless, so, and they've been doing a lot of work, the steering committee.
Okay, so if, I'll tell you what, let's just put it in a motion. Would somebody do that, please?
I'll make a motion that the town donate $5,500 to the Door County Economic, what's the name of it? Development Corporation 2021 Broadband Infrastructure Engineering Study.
Sounds like a plan. Motion by Jeannie, second by?
Go ahead.
I did have some discussion.
I have some questions too.
Do we have to wait till
So-
the
That's
second?
fine, we need a second and we
Okay.
can discuss the heck out of it.
Okay,
Who's the second?
I'll second it.
All right, second.
Now we can discuss.
Mark, all right.
Nice job.
Go ahead, Mark, what's your?
Well, just, should we do the 5,500 or should we do
$2
the
per resident.
$2 per resident? That's what they,
I was gonna just amend it to
Okay.
$2 per
Okay.
resident,
That's good.
so, no problem.
And my question was, okay, so perhaps Ms. Vogel is better suited to answer. I'm looking at the project scope and specifications. So when when the committee or whoever talked to Door County Broadband, were a lot of these points covered by Door County Broadband? You know, the assessment and what do we have now and what, creating the new networks and towers and things like that? Will some of this study be more or less a repeat of what Door County Broadband told us? Or it's probably going to be more intensive and more elaborate because it's going to apply to the entire county, I would imagine.
Yes, that would be my understanding, yes. It's more extensive. They're going to, according to what this says, they're going to be, and I did have a conversation with one of the steering committee people. There's already some wireless in the ground, okay, in the county. And so they'll be mapping that. One of the problems is that the maps are not accurate, and that's statewide, that they're inaccurate maps. So how are you going to determine what's needed unless you know what's there, okay? So this would be, the way I look at it, thank goodness there's a group that's going to study this and ask all the obviously they've done their homework already with all the points they made to what they want to look at within the study, and then being able to actually create that. And I think their goal is to have this done by the end of October. My suggestion to them was to provide some information in advance if they can, so that would be helpful, I think, to the municipalities that want to be working. Because I said, we meet as the Communications Technology Committee, we meet in late August, basically to work on that and then what the budget will be, and I said then the town makes a decision prior to that about the budget. So, as much information as we can get prior to that October goal of theirs would be really helpful. So that was, he told me, good information to have. So yeah, I think with all the points they made on here, there's a number of articles that I just received about broadband, also about Starlink, that I want to forward to everyone so they have the opportunity to read them and see what's going on. But yeah, I think this is a really worthwhile study for us, for the entire county.
So if we participate in this study, then we would hold off on taking any other action regarding broadband until we see the results of this study and have their input and everything.
I basically put a hold on this one. We did not get the grant.
Right.
I think I can't tell you who I'll communicate it to, but since we did not get the grant, I just said, let's hold until we have a better understanding of this process. Obviously, Door County Broadband would like us to move ahead. We have yet to receive, and we can talk a little bit more about it tomorrow night, but we have yet to receive any definitive guidelines on how this money is to be spent. The 3 areas that have been identified, 2 of the areas don't impact us, which is sewer and water and broadband. And we know there's more coming, but in a conversation with the president of the Wisconsin Towns Association, he said they don't anticipate getting any further clarification until sometime around June 1st. So, and the funds themselves, although we certainly have no issue with the 5,000 plus money, the funds themselves will come to us in split this year and next. So we still won't have it anyhow. I think the advantage to doing this and waiting obviously for a better indication of when, where, et cetera, is state of Wisconsin is looking to do some expansion on the budget, although that could be a significant uphill struggle with Republicans and Democrats being so friendly towards one another. But the federal government's also looking at doing some further expansion on their own. So we might be caught at the right time here. So anyway, I think it makes sense. So any other comments from the board? We have a motion and a second. So all of those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right. You will take care of that, Edie?
I will do that, yep.
Let him know. All right, good enough. Thank you. All right, financials. If you notice, you have 2 months worth of stuff, as well as you've already seen the vouchers. So you have the fund balances for February and March. Same thing for budget versus actuals for February and March. And then you have the transaction list by date for the same 2 months. All right. Any questions on any of that from anyone?
I would.
Yes.
I think we're done with the remodeling of our storage areas now, and that was a great job by Mr. Stager, right?
Mark Stager.
Yep, Mark Stager, and also a great job by Amy and Stacy in reorganizing and putting everything on the shelves. Much improvement over the jumble that was there before.
I absolutely concur. You did a nice job, timely. They did a great job putting everything back together. We regained half of the building that we had lost to storage of old documents and unruly whatever. So, okay. While they're contemplating these balances and transactions, Amy, do you have anything you'd like to add?
I do. So the town has received their second quarter general transportation aids. We have made out the 2021 donation to the Door County Humane Society during their promotion where every dollar got matched. So they, instead of getting the $2,000 that we had budgeted, they got $4,000. The town also received the money for the LRP project on Martin Road. And we also paid our second quarter dues to the City of Sturgeon Bay Fire Department.
Good, thank you. All right. So, financial reports, let's just approve those, put them on file. Quick motion from?
I'll move to approve and place on file the financial reports for February and March 2021.
Thank you, Linda. Second by?
Second.
Second by Derek. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried, thank you. All right, next is vouchers, claims, and bills. I think everybody's had an opportunity to sign them for the period February 15th through April 29th.
I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers, bills, and claims from February 15th, 2021 through April 19th, 2021.
Okay, we have a motion by Mark and a second by?
I'll second that.
By Jeannie to approve the vouchers, claims, and bills February 15 through April 19 of this year. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Do we have anyone, oral committee reports? I don't think we do. And no commission or committee reports, which takes us down to Door County Inspections report for the month, which you have in your packet. And we move on to the category of correspondence. And the first thing that we have here is kind of interesting in that we have a new agent for rural mutual insurance. Notification there. You have a copy of the City of Sturgeon Bay Fire Department report. And this is for January and February. Also, notice here for lakeshore erosion control from a couple of different requests that have come in. So we have that in the packet. We actually had 3 this month, also for a pier. A notice of timber cutting. And we have a note from the destination Door County thanking us, I should say, for our donation to the cause to promote activities both in the town through the Sturgeon Bay Door County Destination Group. Also, there is a document here from the City of Sturgeon Bay asking us to support their efforts with the National Oceanic, well, I say that quickly, National Oceanic and Atmosphere Administration are trying to be selected as part of the National Estuarine Research. We're gonna have to stay at home tonight and study this stuff.
Ask Siri, she'll tell you.
It's a mouthful. At any rate, does anyone have a problem in us sending off a support letter saying we support the Green Bay Ecosystem National Estuarine Research Reserve Project? And Mark, would you like to write that letter?
Absolutely. When do you want me to send it? As long as I don't have to read it to them, we'll be fine.
You can read it? All right, that's fine. Mark's going to take care of that.
I
Thank
believe,
you, Amy.
yeah, I believe the county board addressed this at least about 1.5 years ago, maybe 2 years ago, about the estuary thing.
That long ago? And it's finally
Yeah,
now working
finally,
its way down
yeah.
the pile?
I know it was an estuary thing, so.
Well, Mark's going to write a really nice letter and send it off to them. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Amy.
Okay, and then we have the Wisconsin Municipal Clerks Association is doing some training. And I think, Jeannie, you have signed up for Board of Review certification training?
Because Linda and I are still good for this year, and we have to go next year, correct?
Right. You're
Yes,
good for
sir.
2 years from when you do it.
I am signed up.
There's a proposal to make it on an annual basis, though.
Oh, really?
Can we vote against that? Well, we did win some money last time, though.
That's right, we did.
Well, I don't remember anybody offering to share it. All
It was a
right.
gas card, wasn't it? Was it a gas card?
Visa, it was a MasterCard or Visa
Yeah.
card.
Oh,
Really?
all right. Well,
We
Jeannie,
swept them.
if you get any MasterCard or Visa card, we'll expect
Does that happen when you do your class
some
online?
split. Yeah, there you go.
Is it possible?
Amy mentioned this, general transportation aids, that was in the package. Oh, you know what, Amy, Linda, when you had asked about the schedule, I thought I had their sports schedule in here.
Well, I think is that the school schedule though,
This is
right?
the Pioneer schedule.
That's the Pioneers one.
That's a pioneer thing.
I think we do have the other schedule though as well.
I have the Cubbies one, I don't have the, I believe Mark has the other ones.
I thought she tasked you. No?
Nope.
Oh, yes, I have the other ones.
Okay. We could put them out there too on the website if anyone wants to find them as a available resource. All right, and then this is just a notification of the value of a donation made. We get correspondence that was made last year, if my memory serves me right. Then we have this letter from the Door County Coastal Byways to the chairman, telling us how wonderful it is. So we'll talk more about that tomorrow, about the National Byway designation. Then you have the permitted list of rentals in our community. This was December 2020. Recap. And this is a lot of stuff this week, this month. You also have a copy of what's going to be happening with all the road construction. You've seen a lot of that anyhow. This is the specifics as it relates to us. It starts down at the mill and goes up to Bailey's Harbor. And talks about the details, when you can expect the roads to be open, when to be closed, and obviously they will have them open on weekends and holidays so that it doesn't impact the tourist season. with that, that's everything in this month's correspondence. So we have the annual town board meeting tomorrow night at 6 p.m. There will be a 25-person limit to that meeting. It will be on YouTube, and it will be on our TV station, town TV station. Board of Supervisors meeting will be Monday the 17th at 7 p.m. The open book, which is with the 2021 property assessments, will be Friday, May 28th at 10 a.m.
That one's going to be
Mr. Chairman,
teleconference.
That's telephone, right?
Pardon me?
By telephone conference.
Oh, yes.
You have to call.
That's correct. He's still doing it by telephone. Good catch. Board of Supervisors meeting, Monday, June 21st
At 7.
at 7 p.m.
There's a little typo.
Oh,
Oh, I see where you picked up board, all right. The Board of Review is June 28th at 1 p.m. And so if you have some issues with your taxes, please talk to the people at the open assessment or the open book so that you can deal with those issues, and if necessary, we'll see you at the Board of Review, June 28th. So with that, the only other item I have to bring back would be the room tax. Unless someone else has something else we need to add, if so, or later, give me a holler.
ATV and UTV.
I think that'll end up, Mark, going to the park committee first. I'm pretty sure I'll do
We do the
that.
meeting before that.
Pardon me?
If we do a meeting before that, then we'll decide. I mean, then we'll put it on.
Right,
Okay.
depending on where that sits, yes. So,
I think Linda and I would like to thank all the voters that came out and got us back on the board. Right, Linda?
yes, thank you very much.
Thank you, constituents.
For your vote of confidence.
Even though I lost, I'm still here.
I think we're gonna try and make it official tomorrow night.
That I lost? Thanks, Dan.
All right. With that, the next item of business would be to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Yeah,
Unless I missed it, there's an open motion on the internet.
I'm sorry.
Unless I missed the vote, I think there's an open motion on funding the internet study.
Oh, no.
Nope, that one
No, we
went through.
passed that. Yeah.
Okay, I missed it, sorry.
It's okay. Sometimes we miss those things just to test if the audience is really with us. So, no problem, thank you. All right, I have a motion by Derek,
Second.
second by Mark to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned, thank you.